Okay. Am I live? So, I got this patient, was it last week? Yeah, like last week, Monday. He didn't even come in knowing his status. Um, Refused all tests, never had a test prior, thinks it's impossible that he could have it. This was initially, anyway. And came in with low white count, low blood count, low platelet count. Um, no other real symptoms, actually. He he went to his regular PCP, his primary care physician, for a regular visit, and blood tests were drawn, and that's when they found out he's pancytopenic, which means he's low in everything: his white blood cells, red blood cells, platelets. Um, I'm trying to choose my words carefully because HIPAA and whatnot. Um, so it took some convincing to actually get him to take the test. He was not about it at all because he thought it was impossible, ridiculous. Um, Reaching further into his history, he, I guess, reflected on his life and had this revelation that he may or may not, he may have it because he lived a very reckless life, according to him. Those are his words. He was in prison for some time. But the thing is, now he's in a monogamous relationship, a heterosexual monogamous relationship. So he's like, nah, this is not me. But we eventually did a test, and turns out it's positive, and not just a little positive, all the way positive. He currently he meets the diagnosis for full blown AIDS, um, which is not good news at all. It's not breaking that news to someone is not easy. Um, And on the side of the doctor, the treatment side, it's not easy. We're kind of sort of struggling with how to treat this guy because of how secretive he is about his past. Like, he didn't mention his incarceration till he was in the hospital for like a couple days. He didn't mention his reckless past till he was in the hospital for a couple days. So right now, or not right now, but last week when we were initially treating him, we were at a loss because we didn't know what we could believe, what we could not believe. We didn't want to start certain treatments because we don't really know his history. We know what he's telling us, but he could be lying, and or he might not have gotten the correct or necessary test for us to know how to treat him. For example, I know I'm being a little vague right now. I'm just cautious about HIPAA and whatnot. But for example, there's this drug called Bactrim. It's TMP SMX. I'm sure you guys have seen it all over your first aid. You see it as a prophylactic medication for toxoplasma. Um, I would love to give this to this man. I love to give this man this drug because he is at the CD4 count that qualifies for toxoplasma prophylaxis. Pero he, oh, my phone's dying. But what was I saying? But he doesn't know if he's ever taken it. He's never done any sort of genetic testing before. He could have something called G6PD deficiency. I'm sure you guys have seen that all over your first aid. But the scary part of him having G6PD deficiency and me putting him on Bactrim is that it's a self-medication and it could lead to hemolytic anemia, which I don't want. He already has very little red blood cells. Why would I want to hemolyze what's left? So, although he needs this medication because of CD4 count, I'm afraid to give it to him, or we, the team, is afraid to give it to him because we just don't know. We don't know if he has it or not. That's with a lot of things. We just don't know. We sent out all sorts of tests. Like, we have to check for all AIDS-defining illnesses. We have to check for all the infection, every single infection that this man could get because of his low CD4 count. We sent him out. HSV. Oh, am I back? I think I just drove through a dead zone, guys. Sorry if there's like an awkward pause on the live. Um, so we sent out every sort of test to see if he has any sort of infection. The crazy thing is, this guy's asymptomatic, but his CD4 count is low. I don't want to say the number. I mean, I don't really think the CD4 count number will identify the patient and cause a HIPAA violation, but still. What am I saying? Very low CD4 count. We don't know what he has. Have to test everything before we start him on anything. Yeah. I think right now we have him on 2 antibiotics. I'm just so worried about saying certain things. You know how it is with the HIPAA stuff. In addition to his low CD4 count, he has a viral load extremely high. Very, very high. Like, I want to say the number, guys. I'm just nervous. But all the extremely high numbers you see in textbooks, multiply it by 3. That's what this guy has. CD4 counts where you're reading the book and it's like poor prognosis if under da 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 da. That's what this guy has. Walking, talking, not no issues at all. Crazy. I know there's how many people? I know there's not many people in the live, not many people are in and out. I don't remember the number I saw. But if you guys have any questions, any statements, anything, you can leave it on here. I'm heading home. I'll be home in like maybe 15 minutes, so got some time. I'm sorry the vlogs are not up. Honestly, low-key, it's like intimidating to even attempt to edit the vlogs because since I record every day, those video clips is just building up, and I haven't edited anything, so it's like an overwhelming amount of video clips to edit. Half of me is like, should I just scratch it? Like, these vlogs are from 2 weeks ago at this point. What's his issue? But that's it. If you guys came in late to the stream and you missed my HPI for this patient, let me know. I can give a quick recap. I feel like I may have to do that depending on when people actually tune into the stream. They might have missed the beginning parts. No problem. I don't mind. Um, but say this patient. You missed it? Okay. I had this patient who went to his PCP just for a regular visit. They drew blood. The blood test came back showing he's pancytopenic. I'm not sure, what was your name? If you're in medicine or whatever, but pancytopenic means he's low in his blood contents. His white blood cells, red blood cells, and platelets are all low. That's concerning. It means he's immunocompromised. So the PCP, his primary care physician, sent him to the hospital, and that's where I met him. He was very shady about his past medical history, his past social history. I don't know anything. He was shady from the get. And then when we kept on talking to him, he said, like the more days he spent in the hospital, he started talking about how he had a reckless past and how he was incarcerated for some time. And anyway, the thing is, he'd never taken an HIV test before, ever. He never thought he had it, ever. He was like, nope, definitely don't have this. And then he was like, well, I did live a very reckless life, blah, blah, blah. He came to the realization that he has it. And we told him the diagnosis. And reaching further into the diagnosis, we acquired his CD4 count as well as his viral load, which show a poor prognosis. If you read in your first aid or whatever it is, the CD4 numbers and the infections that you need to be on the lookout for these CD4 numbers, he is at the number where you definitely want to prophylax for everything. And his viral load, whatever you read in your book, triple it because it's extremely high. I'm being cautious about, numbers and such, anything that could whatever. just to be on the safe side. Um, he, what was I saying? I was transitioning. I was saying, what if this patient doesn't want to start treatment? What do you do? You know that HIV is a reportable disease. We have to report it to the state, I think. So that's why when you see those stats saying the HIV numbers in Florida, it's always in Florida that it's risen. That's how you know, because we have to report these things. Um, what if he doesn't want treatment? What do you do? I know we say it's not a death sentence like it used to be. People are living long, long lives with this, but long, long lives on treatment and long, long lives after they've been diagnosed early and they start prophylaxing and stuff like that. This guy was not diagnosed. He estimates that he's been living with it for over 15 years because that's when his reckless life was happening, you know? So that's why his CD4 count is probably so low now that we're checking it. But this guy is setting himself up for failure. What is this mother effer? That's why I shouldn't live when I drive because I get angry. He What do you do if your patient doesn't want treatment? Discharge them? Do they leave AMA? What do you do? You can't be like, oh, done with treatment, he's great, like, because he's not. You should treat him, but he doesn't want it. I wrote my note today. I took very long on my note today saying I explained this and that and this and that, and he fully understands. He can repeat everything that I said back to me. He completely understands it and refuses to get treatment. That's it. I guess. Sign off. What am I supposed to do if I'm a treatment team and you're refusing treatment? I gotta go. It's disappointing because he's a young guy, could probably live a good long life. I mean, can't force anybody into treatment, right? I've had a couple patients leave AMA, not just at this hospital, but previous hospitals where I've done my course. People have left AMA. They don't want to accept the diagnosis. They don't want to deal with the treatment plan. They don't want to stay in the hospital. There's a bunch of reasons. People are like, I'm out of here, bro. But I had a patient one time who left AMA and then went to rob a store, and he thought he could use his medical note as his alibi to show that he was in the hospital when the supposed burglary happened, the robbery, or whatever. And obviously that didn't work. He got arrested. We're like, what? And so he got arrested at the crime, which is so stupid, or when he was fleeing or something. And he claimed to be crazy or whatever, and he got brought back to my same hospital, but this time to the psych unit. And we were like, didn't we just see that guy? Like, we went through his file, and we're like, this guy was just here for a completely different reason and trying to use the hospital as an alibi. What a loser. Anyway, psych cleared him and he got arrested, or he went to jail, whatever. That was a random tangent. You guys know I do that if you watch the vlogs and whatnot. Sounds like he was trying to go back to jail. See his lover. Who knows? You know, that reminds me of something. This is another random tangent. Has literally nothing to do with medicine, but just stick with me for a second. I've been binging Judge Judy. She's like my everything. And there's this case where this girl missed her court case with Judge Judy because she was in jail because she got arrested for using a fake ID to try to visit her boyfriend who was in jail. What? Oh, God. The cases you see on there are so funny. Random tangent. Sorry about that. Anyway, I'm on my street now. This is a good chat. I mean, no one actually chatted with me, but it was good to talk to myself. See you guys later.